Hey, sister.
YOLO.
What's up?
Oh, just getting through January right now. What's up with you?
Ooh, I'm about to, well, this is our first Sketch Sisters episode in the new year.
Sure is.
Got a couple gray hairs come through.
Yep,
Dustin
I'm getting
Grays.
getting
Dustin
mine
Grays.
retouched. Hey, have you heard of like glaze for your hair before?
It's called glaze.
Not an ad, just want to have a conversation in the comments if you've heard of this. I think it's the name of it is called glaze, but it's like a non-toxic, vegan, cruelty-free alternative and it makes your hair super glossy
You're an
and
answer to
it's cheap.
prayers. You're an answer to prayers because I've actually been researching. Like, I don't want to, I really haven't dyed my hair that much over the years. And really, for the past 10 years, it's just been like balayage highlights and stuff. And I really want to get away from that. But now,
Yeah.
because obviously, I'm not pushing 40. But also I have some more grays coming through, but I don't want to keep going to a place.
Yeah.
I don't want the damage of it. So I've been researching like I know you can do henna stuff, I think.
That's more
Like,
red, I think, from when I
yeah,
was
I'm
reading.
looking for the right. So put this in the comments, viewers. If you know like an organic, like very natural, comes from plants type,
Yeah.
even if it's a temporary thing where you just like cover
Yeah,
the
this is
clay.
not even semi-permanent. It's like comes out in like 5 washes maybe. I can't remember, but I don't like at this point. I notice when I go back to the salon just to get my roots done every 6 weeks and I'll get my whole ends gone through
Mhm.
maybe once every 3 months or so. But like I notice even if I have new growth, like I have new growth coming in, which I want to keep, but right after I go to the salon, it's like gone. It like disappeared, my little baby hairs. So I feel like
Yeah.
there's
It's
something, and
killing the chemicals are killing your baby hairs.
I think so. So, and in my hair, I mean, obviously my hair texture has changed since as I've, been getting older and stuff, but yeah.
Are you
And
gonna be super grossed out if I eat my breakfast sandwich?
I mean, I won't, but just don't smack it right in the microphone.
Well,
Some other people
okay,
might.
no, I'm not playing a character right now, people. I really just need to eat my breakfast. And this is a bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin.
Hey, I have a question about eating habits. Do you like slurp your hot foods, like your coffees, your soups? Do you slurp them? Or do you just eat them like a quiet, normal person
Here's the
with
truth.
good manners?
Well, you asked me a question, now my mouth is full, but here's the truth. And actually, this is leftover. I made multiple yesterday morning for Thaddeus and I. And of
Yeah.
course, my picky man, this particular sandwich, he had a couple. This particular one, I let the egg get a little too well done. You know how like when an omelet gets crisp on it,
Yeah.
he hates that.
Really? I
But
kind of
guess
like it.
what? I do too. And I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's a little overdone. If you want a new one,
It's an interesting part of the meal, It doesn't,
yeah.
it's not the same then.
And also, I was just multitasking and I did let them cook for too long, but they weren't burnt. It was just a
Yeah.
little bit of a brown crust.
Yeah.
Like sometimes happens at diners you go to and all
Did
that.
you throw it against the
But
wall and say, then
no,
fine, go?
no, 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 not at all. I was like, well, if you want a new egg, just go make one and flip it out. And
Oh,
then
good.
what did he do though? Because he now knows, being in the same
He scrapes
household,
off the burnt part.
no, he knows I hate wasting food.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
also knows I'm not near as picky as he is. So what did I find this morning? He wrapped it up and put it in the fridge. So my breakfast was already ready for today. So I just reheated it.
Hey, that's
Anyway,
really sweet ending
it
of the
is.
story. I thought it was going to be ugly.
Well, I mean, it's, I guess put in the comments if you have a spouse or partner, like, is it imbalanced as far as your eating habits? Because I told him, I'm like, I know you're super picky. And also, a lot of times you're just being a critic because you don't know what you want to eat. So I'm not going to do a full food tour. Like, I plan out my stuff. If I
Yeah.
make a good meal, I usually eat off of it for 3 or 4 meals. Like, And if you want something else, then you cook, which he's very independent. He's a great cook. So that's not like an issue with us. My biggest thing that I told him was, I hate wasting food. So already, perfect, even better for me. I didn't even have to make breakfast.
See, I have a bit of a different household situation. I have a husband and 3 children. And I think, yes, I absolutely hate wasting food, but more and more as the kids get older, it's very predictable the kind of meals that they really love and they
Right.
need, because they're eating like absolute trash cans right now as far as like how much food they need. It's continuous cycle of eating every like 2 hours right now, the way they're growing. So I noticed for me and my husband, our habits have now been like kind of fasting. Both of us don't really eat till like 11 or 12 usually. Well, I like coffee in the morning, a little lemon water for me. I'll sometimes sneak a golden
A
milk in
bowl?
there.
Did
Huh?
you say a bowl of lemon water?
No, I think I didn't.
I
I've
thought
been up
you said,
at
I'm
1:30
pretty,
this
oh, we'll
morning.
have to
So
watch
like,
the playback because I'm pretty sure you said bowl like you're a dog. You drink
uh,
your lemon water
I
with your
drink
paw.
a bowl
So
of
you
lemon
do
water
slurp
every
your
morning.
hot, you do slurp your hot beverages.
We don't eat really till lunchtime. And then I try to eat my biggest meal at lunchtime now. So I'm not making always this huge heavy supper.
I've been
I
doing
try
the
not to have as
same.
many leftovers anymore. Like it just, things are shifting a little bit.
I've been doing the same. Like I desire to eat something like this, usually in the morning, or at least an
Yeah.
egg or a piece of toast. Usually make coffee and or tea. Today it's tea because my throat's been a little dry from the cold and stuff. Severe cold where we are. Tell us in the comments where you are actually. I'd be curious where people are coming from.
Yeah. And if you want to know what
We're
you're
in the
actually
bitter
doing here,
cold Chicago area, Midwest, below
do you want
zero.
to know what you're actually doing here, audience? This is sketch
Oh.
therapy. This is the place you come
Oh.
to get all of your unsolicited advice, your unneeded advice. Really, nothing we talk about is probably needed, but we do like kind of political parody and satire skits around different types of
Popular
things.
popular culture as well, which actually I kind of think politics are popular culture in a way.
Different things we see on the internet, right? So we kind of go through our weeks, and if we see something, we say something type of vibe. And then we're gonna try to put out in 2023 more of this sketch. What do we call it? Sketch Sisters or the Sketchy Sisters, whatever this podcast is gonna be
Just
called.
us in real life actually talking about,
Yeah.
we might talk about like,
Our
well,
family,
yeah.
our
But what
whatever.
character development, we might ask your opinions
Yeah.
on that. We might react to each other's videos on
Yeah.
the channel.
Reacting to some pop culture. I've got a couple juicy pop culture things right now. To start us off. Oh, real quick though, do you slurp your hot liquid?
Yeah, no, I literally was just gonna go back and go, wait, I never actually answered though, because here's the truth of what I was saying. The truth is, and this is why, it's because of our dad. The only beverage I do
Oh,
it with is coffee, and it's just the first sip. And every time
I
it's,
hate it so
I know
much.
she hates it, but I have to do it for the viewers because they don't know Pablo. So I'm gonna impersonate Pablo, our dad, and every time, and he does it actually for every sip, and he drinks multiple cups of coffee a day. But I always do it on the first sip. I think it's literally just like ingrained conditioning, but also to me, coffee is just the aroma, the preparation method, the experience. I don't even drink that much coffee at this point. I don't drink it every day. This is tea. But when I do,
It's a double. It's an inhale and an exhale.
it's the
It's not
first,
even.
it's just the experience. And he goes like this. Yeah, that's good.
No, I can't even hear it.
What?
Okay.
What?
Good. No, never mind.
You couldn't
Scratch
hear
that.
it? Wait, no, I gotta make sure
I'm
you hear
lying.
it. You couldn't.
I didn't hear the intake, the
Okay.
slurp. Ah!
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then afterwards, there's
Yeah.
always, yeah, my husband insists that he has to slurp hot food and he doesn't like not scorching hot food. So he's pretty much inhaling. And it's only, I mean, I guess liquid wise. But he said it's a sign of good manners or something. It's to show appreciation, I guess, in some cultures.
Well, that
Some
I would
family.
believe that. I would believe that because I have traveled other places where it's just normal. Like you can be walking around or at a store, people just belch with their mouths open. It's
Okay.
just a normal function, you know?
I know it's a normal
It's like if you're
function,
in yoga, if you're in a
but like,
yoga class and everybody farts, it's just part of it.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a prude. I'm an old prude ready to prune and shrivel up.
Hmm. I literally didn't go out on a second date with a guy before because he chewed with his mouth open the whole date.
Oh
It was
no, that's
bad. It was bad.
non-negotiable.
Like I could see
But
the food with his tongue mixing around, and
do
I
you
was
think
thinking,
nobody ever told him? Like he maybe grew up in a household of open mouth chewers. I had a friend like this in high school. All of them were open mouth chewers and
yeah,
they didn't know. And at the
yeah.
time I didn't have the maturity or wherewithal to be able to like formulate how to address that. So it was just always, I didn't ever really want to go out and eat with her.
Here's the truth. I don't really care because I don't like, again, that's very normal depending on your culture. But again, that was cultural, maybe not from a sense of like, oh, this represents this. No, it's just in their home, it wasn't the standard of this is what's proper. And in our home, our mom would get on us, like, don't chew with your mouth open, don't slouch. Like it was certain things, but that doesn't mean that that's the only or right way, you know? So
Yeah.
I try to regulate myself if I'm around some mouth chewers or lip smackers. I try to remember, as long as they're not spitting the food on me or like too close to me, I really don't care.
Here's the thing for me, like I do have some sort of visceral aspect of this. If I'm around somebody that's doing it, it really makes me feel a little bit nauseous to be
Yeah,
around.
okay, that's fair.
So it's not even like I'm like not keen on whatever culturally you're into, but I don't know. I just have like
That
a
makes
body
sense.
response to it and it makes me feel uncomfortable and grossed out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. So there is some sort of like, um, no, I'm not even gonna say that. Never mind. Let's
What if
move
you
on.
see somebody gag? I can't, I don't
Oh
like,
no,
it'll make me gag if I see somebody gag.
no, yeah, no.
Um,
I was a nurse, you know, for almost 2 decades, and that was still the worst. I hate
yep.
vomiting and gagging. Like to,
Elementary teacher, principal, also high school principal, all of it gross.
I don't even care about phlegm and snot. Like some people are really grossed out by that. Blood doesn't really bother me. Urine, poo. I mean, poop bothers me.
Yeah, it never really grossed me out because especially working at elementary schools, you're just used to like kids running up to hug you. You don't know if they got boogers all over them. You have to clean up with
Vomit though, there's just the smell with it.
it
Yeah, poop
lingers.
bothers me too. I have gotten in a like splash with poo before, and that is really awful and disgusting. I had a man poop in my hand one time.
This
I
is
had given him an
ew,
enema
Sarah,
and he
I
was,
just finished eating.
I don't care. You were just slurping away, grossing me out.
No,
Simon
I
grossed
was
you out.
modeling. I was modeling for the
I'm
video.
modeling too.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, so I gave him an enema and he was older and he was just, you know, kind of slow to the, you know, he wasn't jumping out of bed. Let's just put it that way.
Mhm.
So there's a commode there. And but this is my fault. I could have just let it drop on the bed. I could have just let it drop on the floor, whatever. But
Let
no,
it
my
just
quick
let it
reflexes,
drop.
my cheetah like reflexes with my own children's, you know, different bodily fluids and catching them off of the carpet or whatever. I reached out my hand like this. Luckily I had a glove on, but it just like fell right in there because I could see it. It was crowning. And it worked.
It was crowning.
He didn't even know. Like as he was turning around and I was helping him like sit down, I just like threw it in the commode and then I like helped him down with my one arm and then like turned around and changed my clothes, washed my hands and stuff. And
Then you
yeah,
went,
it
then you
happened.
went and ate a sandwich.
And then I was like, "Are you done yet? You getting back into bed?" And he's like,
Oh, I bet. Okay, but on some level, you don't miss that stuff about nursing, correct?
I mean, it makes for good stories, but other than that, no, not really. It's the stories nobody wants to hear, but everybody also does want to hear it
Yeah.
because people are just like fascinated by gross, gross stuff. When people find out I was an ER nurse for years, like the first question is always like, "What's the worst thing you've ever seen?" Literally. What's the worst thing? Not even like the grossest, the whatever, the worst thing you've ever seen.
I
Okay.
think I was listening to a talk by Muji.
Mm-hmm.
Muji is. If you guys don't
Yeah.
know, follow Muji. If that's your jam of like more of a philosopher, spiritual lens on life. But he was giving a talk and he he said, you know, in the human condition, on some level, we're all addicted to suffering.
Yeah.
And that proves the point, right? You look at what the top movies are, the killing that's happening, like just how humans function, whether it's drugs or food or alcohol or depression or anxiety, like at the end of it, you're actually like that's where what it is. It was
I wonder if that's
but it
born
makes
though.
me think of like we're addicted to like that pain and
I
suffering.
used to think that it was born of a desire. Like for me, I guess if I find myself attracted to those kind of stories and stuff in the news of like, oh, I want to help, I want to help and make the world better. But I realize as I get older, not everybody, like some people are just like, oh, this actually makes me feel like I have some sort of status in this world. I think maybe it is, or like I'm not suffering as bad as this person. So like
It makes them
I
feel better about
I
themselves.
don't know, or like just really depravity kind of taking over. I have a depraved thing in the news, not really in the news. The Learning Channel,
TLC.
TLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna make a whole video about this, like just commentary on this. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested. But I was witness to, and I do not recommend, like I used to love TLC, the birthing story, the wedding story,
No,
um to
Kara,
Stacey
I
and
was just thinking
Clinton,
this
what not to
yesterday.
wear.
Kara,
Yeah.
we're like telepathic. I was just thinking this yesterday after I had listened to his talk, and then I proceeded to watch an episode of My 600-Pound Life on TLC.
Okay.
And I was like, why
Yeah.
are we filming this
What?
and showing
Yes.
something?
So this has progressed over years. So now I'm pretty sure Sister Wives is on there. I could be wrong. The Duggars started
Yeah,
out on there or
yeah.
are on there still. Like kind of the plastic surgery stories, I think. There's one with zits, like popping zits.
Pimple,
And
Dr. Pimple Popper.
so guess what the progression of the newest one is? What are we learning from this? Tell me.
Ooh.
MILF Manor. MILF Manor, do not watch it.
No, wait, there's an
Boycotting it.
actual show called Milk.
Justine, it's these children, these sons that are probably they're in their early 20s. Like the oldest one was that I've heard say his age is like 23. Like I'm watching this via commentary of people that I follow on YouTube. I will not watch an episode or give like any type of like view to TLC on this. Well, probably not in anything anymore, but so it's moms, they bring their sons with them to this big huge party house, and the moms are freaking hooking up with each other's sons. It's the freaking it's
No.
the sickest. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, if it's so depraved, and if this tables were turned and it was like dads and daughters, like
No, no, no.
I so this is on the Learning Channel. The Learning Channel. Anyways, I want to do a whole separate episode. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. Again, do not recommend, especially like it made me so I'm usually pretty open at this point in life. I've seen a lot of shit. But
Literally, you heard it here first. She caught a turd in her hand.
but like this is disturbing, and the problem is with it, like I can see, like, how did this get into circulation in our
How did it
society?
even go through everything and get approved? And now
Yeah, it's like is this like it made it's so uncomfortable. It's not because I'm some prude uptight. Like I like some really, like I love comedy, I love stand-up, I love, we have this channel. We're not super raunchy on here at this point, but like, things change. That's not my goal, but like, sometimes things in life are raunchy and you just talk
going.
But I'm saying like it's depravity on a whole different level. And I think almost like if you there's so many people shouting about everything, but it's these kind of insidious like innocent, oh, it's just a TV show on the Learning Channel, like chill. Yeah, well, what's the next thing I'm chilling about? Oh, that makes me feel like the world is still okay. A literal teddy bear dog. Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's that. And let me put her in a bed. She has a plush bed, of course.
I haven't heard any women talking about this also, which is kind of weird. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but
No, here's the
if
question.
there's wait, if there's a level of like women empowerment to this, and you go girl, do whatever you want, you're 50 and you go out and get that young piece of wiener,
Oh
like
god.
if there's that, I can't co-sign. I can't.
So
You
here,
kind of like fallen off your rocker a little bit, and like you didn't really think about what, like you can see this in some of the boys' faces, like it is whole confession about deepest darkest secrets from mom. And one of the moms was she slept with one of his friends, her son's friends.
very Freudian. It's very
It's
Freudian.
so gross.
Okay.
It's so gross.
So here's
Do
what
not
came to
co-sign
mind. Here's what came to mind, and maybe we do a different episode or talk about this, like an actual one, because here's what came to mind, and I want to know people's thoughts in the comments too on this. Do you think, like, here, I have this ongoing theory. Karen knows about this. Her and I talked about it a lot. We talked a lot about it as it.
I'll be right back. I'm still here. I'm transitioning because I'm running out of batteries.
She's in the shop.
One moment.
But we talk about it a lot, specifically when it comes to like anti-Black racism matters in the United States, and how harmful it is if any person starts replicating the same type of white supremacy mindset and applying it to, this is the right way for you to do the work, this is the wrong way. You're still like reproducing a hierarchical kind of superiority structure. I agree, there are definitely great approaches when you think about like dismantling harmful systems, whether it's religious systems, the structure of race and systemic racism, all those things. But this goes back to it as well with the patriarchy. And my wondering is, when you see so many, I've seen so many posts, especially in the past like 6 months, of like women continuing to be like, and we're rising. Even on LinkedIn, I see all these posts like almost every day about, finally, there's more than 10% of CEOs are women for the first time in history. Okay, and are we assuming that these are women who have taken time to deconstruct and become very aware of who they are? Or are they now just elevated, and because I identify as a woman, or I was biologically born as a woman, if not, and I've grown up in a patriarchal society, then why would I believe that I wouldn't replicate the same harmful behaviors?
Yeah, if the system that created you is
what's
highly patriarchal,
I feel
then
like
how
what's gonna
likely is
happen-
it that you're of your own volition rising to the
Yeah.
top without some sort of
You're frozen. She's frozen. It's a great pose for her.
Ah,
Okay, wait, you were coming back.
am I back?
You're back now.
Okay.
What did you say?
I don't remember. Something about if the system that created you was a harmful system, does it make you a genius for escaping the matrix, or does it also make you a complicit part of that system? And the reason that you got to where you got, is partially because of the system uplifting whatever values you have. I don't know. I'm sitting in my bed right now. So what do I have to say about it?
Yeah, I
My
don't
phone's
know.
about to die. I knew I was recording. My phone was, not prepared. I'm not rising.
Leave it to a woman.
Not going to the top.
Leave it to a woman to be multitasking and have her phone almost die. I'm just
Oh Lord.
no.
I had nothing.
Yeah, that was tell us in the comments what you think. But I think we're starting to see that pattern, no matter what the issue is that you're talking about. you know, if we think for a second and we haven't put in significant work to dismantle our own programming, our own conditioning, like that, it's going to show up. And it might be true that you are feeling empowered as a woman and you feel like you have more power now or influence,
But like, is it good for
but
the
are
people
you just
around you,
replicating?
especially
Yeah, are you just
your
replicating
children?
the same stuff that the patriarchy has? I don't know. I don't
And
know.
is it good that we're out here talking about our sex lives as openly? I mean, I'm kind of like, I can see both ends of it, because at this point it's like, yeah, it's nice to know that, you're validated in whatever your preferences are, I suppose. But then once that you're going to encounter prejudice, and like, doesn't really matter outside of your own bedroom. Like, cool
Well,
conversation.
I think it's I'm getting
Cool,
better.
cool, cool.
I think one of the things I'm getting better at and working on consciously, not because I share openly about my bedroom, but is just asking myself before I post on any social media platform, why am I sharing this?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, oh, it's just a cute picture of my new dog. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's worthy of considering for any of us. Why am I responding, or why am I posting this, or why am I sharing
Mine
this?
is usually because, oh, this brought me joy, and maybe it will
Yeah.
bring one other person joy,
Or this
in some
encouraged me,
capacity.
or this is a word that I received that I found encouraging and I want to
Yeah.
share, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so without any further ado, let's get to the internets, because the internets have been rocking with memes, and I've been collecting some, and it's happened multiple times in the past 2 weeks where I go, oh, whenever we do another episode together, I need to show these to Kara for a live reaction, because I think if you're a subscriber, you know by this point, I love getting a reaction out of Kara.
I feel like my reactions are so bland, though, that it's so I put into
No, not always. They're usually pretty animated when we go back and rewatch the footage.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, I mean, I'm unabashed with that because
I
I
managed to
also
keep a
talk with my
straight
hands, so.
I managed to keep a straight face to a point, and then I might say something really weird.
So anything else, any other updates for subscribers while I queue up these different little images and memes? I showed you all Canella. She actually does have her own channel. If you want to follow her, she's at Canella Cam here on YouTube. That's a placeholder mainly because my boo, he's gonna do stuff with that eventually. Maybe a little voiceover. With
I
some
mean, you could put it
cool
right
stuff.
here on Sketchy Therapy, and
It's true. It is true. I will continue to
we'll
put
just call the playlist called Canella Cam. She doesn't
yeah.
need a whole other channel.
I mean, he's like trying to make some actual really cool, legit, like 2-minute high-end
And
production.
he can't do that on our channel to elevate our channel.
No, Kara, I'm booking her acting gigs and stuff. I don't.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a momager, a poodle momager.
Mm,
Okay.
yes, I
So,
feel that from you, that
did you
energy.
have anything? Did you have anything you wanted to share with me today?
Um, Not really. No, I shared MILF Manor, and that was all I have capacity
Okay.
for right now. It's a
Okay.
lot. Yeah.
So I did want to drop a hint right here because I did drop a hint to Kara. I'm going to drop the same hint for you all. This is all you get. This is all you get for the hint for Vibe with Me episode 2 on the Sketch Therapy channel. And you know what? Let me do a frame of reference here so people know who I'm referring to. Kara, how would you describe this character on Sketch Therapy named Vibrant?
I mean, she's what they would call a crystal mommy. But she's not a mommy. She's just a single crystal mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And she has this larger than life opinion of herself, I think,
Mm-hmm.
as far as her spirituality goes and her
Mm-hmm.
disconnectedness. to reality, but she's just all about positivity, but you can tell like her backstory is a little bit not as pretty, a little bit more toxic than she lets on.
Yeah. So yeah,
You
it's
know,
like
your typical
she wants to
influencer
portray that she's
vibe.
very zen, a spiritual guru of sorts, but the reality is her claim to fame right now is that she did a national commercial for a children's line of cologne, the first cologne line for babies. So now she thinks she's really onto something. So she does have a best friend that she's had since high school named Blaren. But anyways, this is her list. You can go watch it. This is an idea of the ridiculousness. Okay, so I only wanted to share that as like a peep because I am in the process and I've been developing episode 2. It will be pretty loaded. And the only hint I'm going to give is that there's inspiration from Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer.
Oh boy.
So it's about to be a very lit episode. My dog actually won't be in the episode, but Vibe is
You could put your dog in the
in
episode.
trouble. Well, I know that, but Vibe herself, she's in trouble.
Oh.
I'll put it that way. She's in trouble. Okay, so that was that. Just a little sneak peek, and thank you for giving your description of who you think Vibrant is. I think you're pretty on track. She's ridiculous. Okay, any other characters you want me to pull before I show you these pictures? Like, do you want to have a reaction or want my reaction to anything? We did this last time too, because there's some characters you see more than others. I really am loving I'm loving this little playlist right here. And it's called Canceled with Court Kadash. Any other things you want to say or videos you want me to react to? She's pretty accurate, I think, from what the Kardashians show.
She's not doing very well though. So I think there's something too familiar about it that needs to be like bigger because it's too real. I'm not trying to pat myself in the back. I just think people are like,
it's very accurate. Like, I don't know. Like in some of them, you almost can't tell if it's parody because of how it's based on how they behave on Keeping Up.
You mean you actually have to listen to what I'm saying to figure out if it's parody?
Right. Yeah. Because what she's saying is absolutely ridiculous, viewers and subscribers. Yeah, I don't know. And I also don't even know if my if my other character, the Lost Kardashian, is even gonna take off. I didn't even show my face yet.
Yeah, you didn't show your face.
Well, I just had finished working out and I was like, oh, I look good. I'm gonna say that the family banned me. Comedy Bong Bong. We came up with this concept a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I haven't done any more with that, but I will. I've been lame.
Tell subscribers what the concept is.
Comedy Bong Bong?
Yeah, what's the concept of it? We're gonna react to our favorite comedians, right?
Yeah, it's just like little clips we see from podcasts or comedians or whatever, and we add our own little thing at the end of it. I don't know. It's
I just like saying it. It's a play off
with the name. We spent a little bit trying to come up with the name.
Yeah. Okay, so first reaction.
I don't think you can see my face right now. Can you see my face?
I think so. I have this set so that I think they see our little gallery, our little gallery faces. I just expanded it. We'll see if that helps.
Okay. So really weird and probably unsanitary. Would not recommend, but hey.
See, I knew you would have a reaction, especially because Kara's daughter, she's very much in a zone of personality where she either reacts with what she likes or doesn't like. She either loves something, she hates something. She doesn't typically respond if you're like, how do you feel about it? It's usually gonna, and even if you ask that, it's gonna be no. Like she will offer. So I think you picked that up a little bit, Kara. That's also why I say you literally gave a very concise rundown of your reaction. Wouldn't recommend. Here's why. Okay, I just thought that was cute.
It's kind of cute in a really, like, it's like ugly
It's like
cute. You know
weird.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
it's
Like you
like
can't look
a weird
away.
cute. Like I wouldn't actually wear these. I don't even own Crocs. I never have.
You know what I think you
About
like
it.
about them? If I could break it down, is it's just a miniature croc. That's the
So
part. It's
cute.
not even the part that it's on the shoe. It's just you like the miniature croc itself.
But my thing is, if you really just like a little miniature Croc, just put one of those on your key ring.
They could stand to be smaller.
Yeah, yeah, they
I
could.
mean, they're
I
kind of like
I
a
love
third of the size of the shoe.
I love miniature anything. Really.
I think everybody
Like,
has
how
a
could
little
you
thing
not?
inside. What's that called? Is there a thing that
That
that's
makes
called
you like weird little stuff. We all have,
miniatures?
I don't know, but we all have different things we like. This is actually it's not even serious. It's just this is a headline from Insider magazine.
Gen Zers won't even apply to a job if the salary is listed. I mean, yeah. Why would
Yeah,
you?
I agree with this approach now. I feel like I often am
Always agreed
like
with this approach.
identifying as far as how I think, how I want to operate as far as work and life. I think
Yeah.
I identify with Gen Z in a lot of ways, even though I'm a millennial.
What do you mean? Because
Like
millennials are kind of the
their
quiet quitting
attitude about
generation.
work, their value. Yeah,
That's totally born of a millennial mindset, though.
that's
They
true.
are a product
That's a good
of
point.
millennial mindset. It's a
That's a good
progression.
point.
It might it
Um,
might be a bit of a swing too far at times, I believe, personally, without some sort of like wisdom or instruction from people who have lived a little bit. But
yeah, like lived experiences.
yeah, I don't identify with that generation, but I would say it's definitely like a continuation of millennial mindset
Point.
shift.
That's a great point. Okay. Nothing else to say, guys. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
In a nutshell,
Quick and
this is why Kara just keeps it moving. I couldn't wait for you to see this one.
in love with the G. It's the best sex I've ever had. Yeah, I know about this person. She married a tree, right?
I think you kind of I think maybe we've talked about it before, but somebody posted it in their Monday meme dump and I was like, I wonder if Kara's seen this. And obviously you can't see it,
No,
but
I know about this person.
she's 31.
Like, there's a
It says she left school aged 16 to train as a nursery nurse and is currently unemployed.
oh well,
But what do you think about this headline?
mental illness comes to mind.
Connected with nature?
No, again, like there's some sort of like I don't know what something's not being filled. Her cups are not being filled
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with whatever, and that's sad. And like as much as I, you can do whatever you want. It's your life and your time, but like it's like, you know,
Here's a
what are we
question
looking?
I would want to ask is this a person who consistently engages in psychedelics or drugs? And or do they have identified mental diagnoses? Because the other
I
okay,
don't think they're probably. I don't know if they're a person who's engaged in psychedelics. I wouldn't picture that.
I
It
wouldn't
seems
either.
like kind of an out of touch, out of body, disembodied thing to
For
do.
someone to say that it says Emma says poplar tree Tim, so she's named it Tim, satisfies her emotionally and sexually.
Well, no, that's impossible. That's just not even true.
Exactly.
So we know right now there's
Yeah.
some sort of illness there. That's what I would have to say
But
about that.
okay, the thing I was laughing at is the little bits that you can see however this journalist wrote this article whenever it originally came out, you can, even the little bits you can see, it literally is just such a play on word. Emma McCobb has branched out and fallen for Tim, a sturdy poplar tree. Then it says, reckons she found the one with her tall, dark, and handsome lover. But while she's already planning marriage, her family and friends think she's barking up the wrong tree. She's barking mad. But
See,
even, and then look here, it says, growing up, Emma loved the outdoors, but it wasn't until adulthood that she realized how deep rooted
no,
feelings towards the trees were.
no.
Just so you know, subscribers, I actually am not even laughing at her. I'm laughing at the journalist who was making a play on words already, like consistently throughout this article.
You can be super close to nature without like, there's no, I don't have anything else to say about it. It
Yeah.
seems
I feel
it's
sad.
a pathologic thing, just
Yeah.
like MILF Banner, that it's like, yeah, you can definitely everybody deserves and needs to be loved and accepted wherever they're at, but also don't name like
Inanimate
things that
objects.
are no, don't name things that are like taking you away from being embodied within yourself. Like, don't name those as positive things.
Well, because the thing that saddens me most about the situation, and regardless of if there's mental illness, drugs, whatever, it makes me sad because this isn't the first time. Like, I've seen it with inanimate objects on different TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, like cars
Yeah. And so even that, and a tree's a living thing, but a tree doesn't have a nervous system. It doesn't have a brain function. Like, it's all those things. And the saddest part to me is then, okay, Emma, but you are choosing, for whatever reason, whatever has happened in your life, you are choosing to opt out of your human experience. And you're saying, I don't want to connect with that part of that's who you are.
Maybe rather than saying she's in love with a tree, she should say, I identify as a tree. Maybe that would be more accurate.
Right.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. A tree technically is a living thing, but like, and there's definitely, I mean, I think there's definitely energy in nature and in all living things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you're missing out on a big part of the human experience to like say that this is some sort of connection or reality
Right.
of
Right.
love, of a loving feeling.
Yeah. So
Or
Emma, look, my heart goes out.
Committed to a tree. Real
Emma,
hard.
I wasn't laughing.
Okay, good job.
I was laughing at the journalist who used all these plays on words. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Oh, this was just a celebration. Meta did actually $50.
Yeah, I'm waiting for more bonuses to be available for me to make more content on Instagram personally.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Meta just did it because social media platforms are struggling, including theirs, most of all, and they wanted people to create content. So that was another news item. Oh, okay, final one. I think it's the final one. Well, I sent this to Kara. She's a Capricorn. I'm a Virgo. I did send this to Kara. And that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for my reaction memes, I believe. Yeah. Okay. That's all I got.
You got a call coming up, don't you? Oh no, you're done it. You're an hour earlier. Never mind.
I am, but I do have let me double check and see what else can we expect. Do you have any other, while I check that, do you have any other characters in the work or characters you want to give updates on? Like, I gave kind of my hint, like I've been working on the next episode for Vibe With Me.
I have a Lucille Ball wig that's just begging to be brought out and brought to life. So we'll see what happens with that. I've had a few health issues the last couple weeks. My autoimmune.
I've got about 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been kind of like not feeling very funny. So
you've had a lot of health issues happening.
I mean, I wouldn't say a lot. There's definitely a lot who have it worse.
They've been multiple things as a result of the one thing.
Yeah. I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. So I'll probably be talking about that somewhat on our Educator Aid YouTube channel that has all our professional stuff. We have a workplace wellness section on that.
Yep.
So you can check that page out at Educator Aid. It's like professional development,
We're going to be adding
entrepreneur, like
a
advice.
multitude of different, it'll be a library of like training resources, professional learning, all that.
So all that to say, you know, I had some sort of flare up, probably because I ate gluten over Christmas like I wasn't supposed to, and it sort of all stored up in there in my body and caused some issues. I got a frozen shoulder out of it. If anybody's ever had a frozen shoulder, it hurts like the worst thing. Like I would put it right up there with childbirth, and I gave birth twice without an epidural. So
Frozen shoulder, put in the comments. Put a snowflake emoji in the comments if you've ever.
yeah. Am I just a snowflake about childbirth and frozen shoulders? But yeah, I couldn't move my arm at a point last week, so I had to get onto some steroids, and those are like jacking me up. I was up at 1:30 like zinging this morning, and now I'm tired.
For people who don't know what Hashimoto's is, they've never heard that word. They're making some type of joke about hello moto, whatever. Like, what is it exactly? Because I think people probably know, like, people have gluten allergies, people know about celiac disease pretty widely.
Yeah.
Well, more so really in the past 20 years. People
Yeah.
know about lupus, which is autoimmune. They know about some of the other big autoimmune. But for people who haven't heard that, what exactly does Hashimoto's do to your body?
So there are several different types of autoimmune diseases that affect, like it's your body sending signals that it should eat itself in a certain way or harm itself in a certain way. So like any like healthy tissues, it might interpret as like unhealthy tissue and then go ahead and attack and inflame those areas. So with Hashimoto's, it causes increased inflammation, especially in the thyroid. And the thyroid is like the brain of your hormones. So it affects all different kinds of things. But anyhow, I am doing my best. I found out in August that I had it. I've been working for 10 years to figure out like what's going on with me ever since I had my daughter, basically. And doctors have never tested the antibody for this particular autoimmune. And it turns out this is what it's been. Anyways, I'm getting on track with that. But part of my treatment is to cut out gluten, refined sugar, and dairy products, which right now I'm just trying to cut out lactose because dairy has really never bothered me as like a sensitivity. But all those things combined, like you try to just take the inflammation out of your body so everything could calm down. And then I'm also going to be getting like a food sensitivity test just so I have a better idea. It's like I love eggs. There are some things that say eggs are good for inflammation and some things that say it's bad. So I have to like figure out for me. I can already tell you for sure gluten has been, and I never want to be one of these. I always thought these people were annoying that they're gluten free because I know honestly as a nurse, like celiac is pretty much the only disease that you have that like you cannot have it or it will do some horrible damage. Well, gluten also is highly inflammatory. I'm learning all this. I was very ignorant to it. So all that to say, I'm working to like kind of that's a lot. Like I've been eating all that shit for years. And so it's been a lot. That's it. And it can cause like I had this shoulder freeze up last week. I couldn't move it, hurt like hell, had to get on a steroid.
Sling.
I was in a sling.
A little sling. Well, how did you find
So not feeling super fun. So not feeling super funny a lot last week.
but what about if somebody's like, okay, well, doctors couldn't find that for 10 years. What if I think that's going on with me? How did you
They didn't try.
Yeah,
they didn't
right.
try.
But how did you figure out? I'm asking not because
I ordered
sponsorship, but so people know. How did you actually then figure out?
I ordered an online lab test. It's called Everlywell, not sponsored, but this is how I decided I was going to do stuff because last year our health insurance changed. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that or not having health insurance. We didn't have the same doctors and coverage we had had for years. And I didn't want to get hooked into a new network knowing that at the end of 2022, things were going to change and I wanted to go to. And so I ordered my own lab test, and it happened to test for all these things that no doctor had ever like been willing to check for. I would show up, oh, your blood pressure's high. Oh, you have anxiety. One time a doctor diagnosed me with depression, like right off the bat. And I'm like, I don't feel depressed. I don't feel good right now, but
they
like,
also try to put you on meds multiple times, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like antidepressants and anxiety.
Not anxiety, depression medication.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, if you think that you're having problems in your body, you probably are. And I think there's a conventional wisdom in Western medicine that says like, you know, it can only be this set of things, or we're only going to focus on these certain systems. But there's a lot of new stuff that comes out all the time about inflammation in the body and the gut, the brain and gut health, and all of the different things. So I just think there's a good balance between learning about like, you know, some elements of herbalism that were helpful in the past, and also new elements of science that continue to develop. But the problem is I live in a really rural area. So I have like one doctor that I trust, and I fortunately have been able to get into him now. But a lot of our doctors around here particularly do not keep up on they'll keep up on their certifications, of course, to keep their licenses, but that doesn't mean they're like going to the latest conferences, reading the latest research. Like there's nothing that says a doctor has to do any of that. Like they do have to pass certain standards every year to renew their licenses and keep that fresh. But other than that, like once you're out of medical school, like there's not a whole lot of accountability as to unless, you know, things have changed or something, but there's not accountability really for nurses. And at least I live in Indiana, but nurses in Indiana, there's no real need. We don't have to report our professional development to the state. Now, individual organizations have their standards for that, but like, there's nothing to say like I would ever pick up a nursing article or medical journal ever after I graduated college. So anyways, it's important to like take things into your own hands and kind of, I know a lot of people are really uncomfortable maybe, and I'm more comfortable with it because of my educational background and stuff. But like when you have questions and you have things that you want to investigate and you know your body better than anybody, this goes for your kids' health too. Like it happens with kids all the time where their parents bring them in, the doctor doesn't believe them or whatever. Anyways, I'll be talking about more of that, like the cooking and, you know, things like that in another forum.
So follow here. And then also you can follow our family company page, which is called Educator Aid Incorporated. We help train and teach people in different matters. And so Kara's starting a great playlist over there called Workplace Wellness. And it'll have a lot of tips and tricks like what she just wrote down. And she's taught me a ton over the years about my body and continues to be a great force in my life for that specifically in many ways, but I'm being serious. It's a compliment. And I think that that's important because I can't imagine what it's like if you don't just have somebody who happens to have nursing background that you're close to, you know, and how do you get these questions answered? So if you want to hear more about this, then definitely hop over there, engage with her videos, and put down your questions, put your questions and comments, and then she'll answer them on that playlist, and we can put the link in the comment back to you or something.
You can put them here too if you want, and I'll direct you back to another video. But
wait, really quick question about what you were just everything you were just saying though. I do think that is why there's such a glaring mental health crisis in America too, because we have such years and years, decades of highly processed, refined sugar foods, and not a lot of fresh. I think that's really been since like the dawn of the 50s, 60s, when it was TV dinner, and post-war, like canned goods and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's catching up with us. I think there's a direct relationship there with why so many people in America specifically.
Well, yeah, definitely the ingredients in food. People are not really cooking as much as they should be or used to be.
Yep.
I'm gonna say should be, because if you cook,
you don't know what
you know exactly what you're putting in there.
You don't really know that you're eating. unless you're cooking it.
And I understand it's a privilege to have the space to cook, and I get that.
Yep.
But if you're in any way, shape, or form able to have some sort of a kitchen or access to a kitchen, like there's
Yeah.
always a way to do that in that case. Anyways, and I know it's not always convenient, and it takes a lot of planning to make good, healthy meals at home. And to be honest with you, I get tired of hearing people say that it's expensive to eat healthy, because I think it's actually a lot of the processed foods, like bang for your buck wise, I'm making a whole lot more food if I'm buying fresh food.
I'll tell on myself. I'll tell on myself about that. And I can tell you legitimately, especially over the past few years, and Kara knows I've had different bouts with depression after our mother passed, and even before that. I have also had a lot of overwhelm at times with growing our company, Educator Aid. And I very much after the pandemic, I got into the habit of ordering Uber. And I know I'm not alone. I talk to people all the time. I also talk to friends who are not married, or even if you are, like it's just their lifestyle because they live in a city. And this was even pre-pandemic. I remember talking with a friend like 10 years ago. And at that time, I didn't even really know about the apps and stuff. But, and he was just telling me like, it's sickening how much I've spent on Grubhub. So
Yeah.
it's also not, it's not just I also found myself, it almost became a compulsive behavior where I just got so used to ordering. But then it wasn't even like I would order unhealthy stuff. But then I would get in this cycle, like you just get in this cycle of it's way easier and you think you're saving time. I can definitively tell you, even if you're going to pick up your orders, 10 times I've ate out like twice in the past month since I moved into my new home, and I cook every day, or I have stuff that I've made or prepared, or I do snack plates or whatever. Kara, hundreds of dollars of savings.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
putting that out there, especially if you're a person and you're maybe stuck in a rut or you don't know how to get out of it. Like start taking the steps, because I'm telling you, it's a waste of money and you have no idea. We really have no idea what's put into some of these foods at restaurants and stuff.
I think there's something grounding about the way you treat food too when you actually touch it and prepare
Yeah.
it. Like
Oh, yeah.
just
Yes.
like environmental, biological, whatever you want to call it. I do think too, like even knowing like my background in nursing, and the knowledge base that I have, I still was not able to get proper
Yep.
care
Yep.
for, and maybe some of that's on me because I knew a lot of doctors that I worked with, so I didn't necessarily want to go, like I was looking elsewhere, I guess, to like avoid people I knew, like looking at
Well,
my
yeah, it's sensitive, it's personal. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so not always, or being embarrassed that like, oh, this nurse knows me and she's gonna like tell, like I know this is not supposed to happen in healthcare, but definitely people gossip. People gossip everywhere. So
Mhm.
it's not limited to anything else. But anyways,
Just hits a little
yeah,
different if they're gossiping about people's health problems. Although
yeah,
technically, let me not be hypocritical. I mean, technically, we were discussing Emma's potential mental health with her tree lover, Tim. So, but it was
and
also
I'm not a
it was also
practitioner
a
trying to
featured
diagnose
magazine article and wasn't violating HIPAA.
meaningless commentary, in my opinion.
It wasn't
It's my
violating HIPAA in any way or talking about a patient that you've served.
or saying specifically what I think is wrong, because I wouldn't do
Yeah.
that either.
No, we're not a doctor. So what else? Anything else that you would advise or encourage people who might be having some hormonal imbalances, or maybe you think you have thyroid issues, or you think you have an autoimmune disease, or you feel a lot of water and fluid and inflammation in your body?
Pay attention to your food, and what inflames your body. And when I mean inflames, like for me, if I have, even though I'm not allergic to gluten, like if I have gluten, like my eyeballs will like blow up, like
Yep.
physically, like it looks like they're a little bit swollen. They'll get super red and bloodshot. I'll
Yep.
get hives more easily. I tend to have sensitive skin anyway, but I'll get really, really like blotchy red cheeks.
Yep.
Like there's just things, my stomach puffs up with gas. Like it's pretty clear that there's a correlation there. And even though it's not like killing me directly right the second or making me have explosive diarrhea right the second, like it's just not,
It's
it's not
making
good.
you completely uncomfortable. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah. And
nothing that you
inflamed
just
or
named
whatever. Yeah.
sounds like, yeah, I want to feel like that.
No, but see, the thing is, because I've eaten that way my whole life, like, and it didn't become a problem until, you know, the last few years. Part of me was like,
Right.
oh, it's not that. Like, I would have had more problems if that were the case, or more. I don't know what I'm thinking. Like, if I had to die or something for this to be an issue, but also thinking like, all this beautiful fluffy bread and pasta that I'm going to be missing out on. At first it didn't sound like, it sounded like a negotiable, you know, like I could sort of cheat a little bit.
Here's the question I have though. Isn't pasta pretty easy to make homemade? And if you know like what you're
It's
putting,
not pretty easy, no, but
no, I've never actually made it. But I mean, like, okay, let me not say easy. I use the wrong classification. It's only a few ingredients.
yeah,
However, the main ingredients are like flour and eggs.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's alternative pastas like rice flour pasta. I
I
think it's
know.
pretty.
I posted on here for you all. I posted my vodka marinara with brown rice. I will say that one in particular, that brown rice pasta that it's specifically rotini.
Yeah,
It tastes just like real pasta.
yeah. Well,
Some of them you get, like I've definitely done cauliflower, I've done red lentil pastas.
yeah, it's
Um,
fine,
it's
but
fine, but this was the first one, Kara. It tastes like real pasta.
they
And
do have a.
Actually Thaddeus liked it too, even.
I think it's Berea. Is that a pasta name? Has a gluten
Barilla.
free.
Barilla.
Oh, it
Well, you
has
probably say it Berea. You probably said it correctly.
it has a gluten free. It just looks like regular pasta. It has a bit of a different texture though. It's like using the one for one gluten free flour. It's
Yep.
just a little like
Slightly.
grainy or something. I can't even, like, you can feel the granules. It's not smooth like flour. I'm gonna try to make some water bread with it and see how that goes. But
Have you
we'll
tried to
see.
make any water bread with like oat flour or almond flour?
No.
Mm,
Uh-uh.
I'm tempted to
No,
try.
almond flour would not work for
I don't
sure.
think almond flour would work for that. Mm-mm.
Maybe
I think
rice
oat
flour.
I think oat flour might,
Flour might, yeah. Yeah.
but can
I
you
have
do
to
oats?
experiment.
Can you do rolled oats like
Yeah.
oatmeal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just take oatmeal sometimes, Kara. I have done that as a substitute. And then oatmeal, I'll put it in a grinder and make my own flour out of it for whatever I need. Then I don't have to purchase it. That's a hack actually for you all if you don't know.
Is it the
Don't
same?
have to go to the
Like,
fancy where they sell the almond flours and stuff because especially with inflation right now, I think a package of almond flour is probably going to be $8-9 and it's small. It's not that big. But you buy oatmeal, buy the big Quaker oatmeal. It's pure rolled oats. You can buy a massive one for like a couple bucks and just put it into a grinder. Like I use a coffee bean grinder and you can make it as fine as you want. And it actually feels just as fine and silky as white flour.
does the texture of stuff turn out the same afterwards? Like if you're making whatever cookies
I
or
haven't used it too much, but I would venture to say yeah, because even um, the consistency is, I mean, it's just like flour and it's soft like that too.
yeah, but sometimes it, like, I notice with
I'd
different
have to
kinds of
try, I'd
flour,
have
it
to try
takes
to,
different moisture.
I'd have to try it. I can't remember when I baked with it. I think I did it a couple years ago, the first time. Okay.
All right.
Well, hey,
Well,
it's great to catch up. Viewers, subscribers, if you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, find out what playlists you like, engage, interact with the comments. We love when you all leave us comments. Anything else, Kara?
I don't think so. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Ooh, Ooh, enjoy. I'm gonna take Canella out. She did curl up in her little bed and is taking a nap, but I'm gonna take her outside here in a minute. See if we can take a number 2 before my next meeting. Hey, thank you all. See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.